may be the greatest catch I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, recording this right after opening day. Recording this April 2nd. Very excited that we finally got to watch some baseball. I know that pretty much everybody watching this video right now has been waiting for Major League Baseball to come back. So A, I hope y'all had a chance to sit there and watch the games last night. And B, I hope y'all are ready to continue to go and grind out this fantasy baseball season. Now, what we're going to be doing in this video is we are going to be going through and talking about some standout performers from opening day. And yes, I know, guys, it's a sample size of one game. Literally, it means almost nothing. But what we're going to do to make this video actually worth it is we are not just going to look at what happened on that day. We're going to look at those standout performers, and we are going to look at where they are being drafted this year, what their projections are, what they were in recent years, and try to piece together if we think that they should be guys that you are targeting or not. But before we get into this video, I just want to remind y'all, guys, please take advantage ASAP. I talk about this, I don't know how many times, but Thrive Fantasy is a site right now that is pretty much begging people to go and play on their app. I don't know if they are just desperate and going through and trying to sell to a very big company and want as many users on that platform as possible. But they're just throwing out free money right now, where if you go and you use promo code FLOCK, you can actually enroll in a free $1,000 free roll contest where you don't have to spend a single penny. There's a free $1,000 at the top. But what I would do if I were y'all is I would take $20, deposit it on the app, because they're begging people to sign up. So what they're also doing is they're matching your deposit bonus up to 20 or 50 bucks. I'm sure once you use promo code FLOCK, it will inform you on how much. I would just be safe and do it with 20 instead of 50. But yeah, that's it. That helps the channel also. Let's get into this video though. And the first player that we're going to talk about is going to be Joey Gallo. And Joey Gallo is the perfect guy to start this video with, because we know he had an unreal spring training in 2021. And when we are making those videos tracking players that started off very hot in spring training and going, hey, yes, this isn't everything. What matters a lot more is the projections coming in, but it's one small piece of the puzzle, and we can start to track these players as they go along. That's kind of what we're doing in this video. It's just the smallest piece of the puzzle, and we want to have a spot to jump off from. And Joey Gallo had a fantastic spring training. Now on opening day, he comes out and has a total of 6 plate appearances. We know the Rangers, they just rode up the score where they were just runs on runs on runs on runs. But out of those 6 plate appearances, he had 3 walks, which we know that is one thing that you like to see. But also, he had 2 hits, 1 run, and 2 RBIs. So out of 6 plate appearances, he was able to get on base 5 times. Just something that obviously is not going to be sustainable, something that doesn't mean a ton. But if we go into Joey Gallo, I think this is the perfect example of a player that we go, okay, he had the spring training. Now he's having it on opening night as well. Let's look at where he was being drafted this season. And he was being drafted at 145 overall. Now, I will say in high-stakes fantasy baseball drafts, closer to the beginning of opening day, he was being drafted a lot higher because of his spring training performance. And if we go through and we look at Joey Gallo, I mean, yes, we have not had a full season from him in a very, very long time, where in 2019, he only had 241 at-bats, where he had a 253 average, a 389 on-base percentage, and a 598 slugging. So we know that Joey Gallo is going to be a player that hits for power. He's also going to be a player that gets on base very often with how many walks he can accrue. And in 2020, this is the reason that I think he represented such a good value in fantasy. And I want to echo what I've been saying on these videos over and over and over again, is that 2020 Major League season doesn't mean a whole lot. I mean, these players didn't even know if they were going to get to play. And once they did, it was a small sample. We know that games were getting postponed left and right. It was crazy. I think you can take very little away from it. And in 2020, Joey Gallo hit the wrong side of variance, where in 193 at-bats, he had a 181 batting average, a 301 on-base percentage, and a 378 slugging. So here, if you look at his season on the whole, I think that Joey Gallo should be a lot closer to his 2019, 2018 numbers than what he was in 2020. And it's, of course, encouraging to see the hot start that he has, not only in spring training, but on opening day. So, yes, I know opening day is not everything, guys, but things are pointing in the right direction for Joey Gallo. And maybe this is a player that we need to continue to track over the next few weeks. All right, so now let's go to our next player, someone that I am absolutely in love with. Y'all know that he was one of my favorite targets at the back half of round 1 in fantasy baseball drafts this year. It's going to be Christian Yelich, who was going at the very end of round 1. I mean, if you were playing in a 12-team league, sometimes you were even able to get him in the early second as the 5th outfielder off the board. And with Christian Yelich, it was pretty much all about the fact that, hey, he had a bad 2020, but 2020 doesn't mean anything. We've talked about this over and over again where, yes, saying it doesn't mean anything is probably an exaggeration. You need to take some things from it, but they need to be at a massive discount. And if we go to that 2019 season, he had 489 at-bats, a 329 average, a 429 on-base percentage. And this is the stat that is ridiculous. I mean, absolutely absurd. In 489 at-bats, he had a 671 slugging. Not only did he have that absurd slugging number, but also 30 stolen bases. So here, Christian Yelich looked like he has the upside to be the #1 overall scorer in fantasy baseball. And then we go through and see that on opening day, hey, he has a good day. This is exciting news. In 4 at-bats, he has 2 runs, 2 hits, and an RBI. So with Christian Yelich, maybe this is just because I was very excited about him coming into this season. But of course, I have to give him a shout out with that small opening day performance. Okay, so now let's go over to a player that I think we have yet to talk about on this channel, and it's going to be Michael Brantley, who was going at pick 147 overall in high stakes drafts this year. Outfielder for the Houston Astros, 33 years old, so he is on the wrong side of that age spectrum that we want to look for. But still another example of a player that looks like his 2019 stats aren't being taken nearly as serious as they ought to be. Because in 2019, he had 575 at-bats, a 311 batting average, a 372 on-base percentage, a 503 slugging. And in 2020, he had 170 at-bats, a 300 batting average, a 364 on-base percentage, and a 476 slugging. But we go through and see on opening day, hey, he had 4 at-bats, 2 runs, 3 hits, and a home run to go along with this. So great performance. We know the Astros were also just all on a roll on their opening day. But anyway, if we go over to a website that I love to use in RotoChamp, not an ad, just like using their website, they have him currently projected for 2021 with 524 at-bats, a 294 average, a 355 on-base percentage, and a 462 slugging. So with Michael Brantley, I mean, this was a great start to his year. Obviously, it's only one day, but still, you can get excited if you draft him. I mean, fantasy baseball is to have fun. Anybody who's playing in leagues that cost thousands of dollars to buy in and you're trying to make this your career, just playing fantasy baseball, I got news for you. This isn't the channel for you. You know way, way, way more than I do. Anything I say is not going to be helpful to you. This channel is for people trying to have fun with fantasy baseball. So if one of your guys is on this list, I think you should get excited. And our last player that we are going to be talking about is someone that we mentioned last week when we were talking about older guys. It's going to be Paul Goldschmidt, who is going at 89th overall in fantasy baseball drafts this year, the first baseman for the St. Louis Cardinals. And we go through and we see that here we have not had a quality full year from him since 2018. Where in 2019, he had close to 600 at-bats, a 260 batting average, which was the lowest in the past 7 years for Paul Goldschmidt, a 346 on-base percentage, a 476 slugging. 2020 was nice, but like I said before, I mean, I don't want to go all in on 2020. Let's just kind of skip over that. Let's, more importantly, look at what his current 2021 projections are, and that is 557 at-bats, a 269 average, a 370 on-base percentage, and a 478 slugging. Now here, I think that honestly, this is probably a little low because unless you're expecting him to slow down as he is 33 years old, I mean, generally you see year over year, his batting average, his on-base percentage, and his slugging all be higher than this. But let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. At least on opening day, he was able to go out there and with 5 at-bats, have 4 hits, 3 total runs, and an RBI to go along with this. So a fantastic day by Paul Goldschmidt. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming out, checking out the video. Really hope y'all enjoyed it. Really hope y'all appreciate it. Now, go down there, drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, most importantly, if you enjoyed it. And yeah, that's it. I'll see y'all with the video tomorrow.